So Konami just dropped a wealth of information regarding Silent Hill 2's remake, including an extended gameplay trailer, a release date trailer, and some more information about the upcoming Silent Hill 2 movie. As someone who's been obsessed with Silent Hill for nearly 2 decades at this point, I have quite a bit to say about this, but once again, I feel like I'm stuck in an endless loop of deja vu with this community. And first, I'd like to talk about the pros. The first thing I noticed is that the sound design is on point, and that's strictly because of Akira Yamaoka's involvement. Excluding this man from the Silent Hill 2 remake would have been the single biggest mistake Konami could have made in this whole situation. Playing Silent Hill 2 without Akira's sound design, music, and ability to mix, master, pan, and perform pretty much any feat of audio engineering would be like watching Jaws without John Williams' soundtrack. There's just something inherently missing that could never be replicated by anyone else. I'm really happy also that they redesigned James. His original design I was certainly not a fan of. In fact, it kind of looked to me like those meme videos that people do with the RE engine, the newer Resident Evil remakes where they crank the facial animations up to 150%. He just seemed to be comically over-emoting about nearly everything. And with this new redesign, he seems a lot more subtle in his animations and his reactions to certain things, which I really like. I was as worried as anyone else about the way they would go about the combat in this game, seeing as how, well, Bloober had not had any combat in any of their games prior to this, but based on what I'm seeing here, it seems okay. It's got a basic over-the-shoulder, right-click to aim sort of gunplay combat going on here with the shotgun and the pistol, and the melee doesn't seem too overblown or dramatic. The only thing that it seems that they've added is this quick little backstep move that James is able to do to avoid attacks. And if that's the only thing, that's fine. I don't really have too much of an issue with that. I'm also really happy to say that the environments look great. Watching James wander around the town, the hospital, and the short cutscene with Angela in the beginning, I was really happy with what I was seeing, and if this is an indication of what the game is going to look like on final release, I don't really see much to complain about here. So far, this is a hell of a lot more promising than the original announcement transmission now nearly 2 years ago. This brings me to the reason why I felt the need to make this video in the first place. You may notice I haven't mentioned Angela's redesign just yet. Well, there's a reason for that. I'm not sure if it's this community in particular, the way that Twitter discourse happens, or the way that online communities conversate about these types of changes, but it just seems to be that there's no winning. Say, for example, you're unhappy with Angela's new design, particularly in the way she's presented in this initial cutscene. Somehow, according to either the community at large or several influential Twitter users, this makes you some sort of pervert who wants Angela to be, quote, bangable. However, if you like the redesign and have no issue with it, you are a woke shill, and you will buy anything with a Konami logo shoved into your face because you're aligning yourself with some sort of political agenda. I can comfortably say I don't have much of a problem with this design. I think I can get through the game just fine as long as the performance from the actress is believable enough. I'm not going to have too much of an issue with how she looks. And personally, like I said, this first shot is a little bit jarring. It's a little bit odd because it does look kind of weird. It almost looks as if she's trying to force a double chin and like hide inside of her turtleneck. I'm not sure why they chose this as the first scene to show her, but the rest of the scenes they showed her in, she looks fine. So I'm really not sure why there's so much heated discourse over this redesign, but what I will say is, for your own sanity and for my own sanity, please don't engage with these conversations. The only way to win, for lack of a better term, in this type of scenario is just to not play the game. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't. So for my own sake, I'm staying out of this. But I will say I don't have much of a problem with this design. It just seems to be a really off first shot. The first angle is weird. The rest seem totally fine. So that's really the beginning and end of my thoughts on it. And I would implore the rest of the community, please stop arguing about this. There's been so much time and energy spent arguing about this for the past few days, really since she was first shown on screen in this transmission, and it's just ridiculous. We have a lot more important things to worry about, like what's the potential content roadmap for this game? Will the success of Silent Hill 2 Remake potentially lead us to a Silent Hill 1, 3, or maybe even a 4 remake if we're lucky? These are the types of questions that I would really like answered. And personally, the only person I go to as a viable resource for how Angela should look and behave and sound is Takeyoshi Sato. And he actually spoke a lot about Angela's initial design in this making of video that was released with the European Special Edition of the game. Let's listen in and see what he had to say.
Now, unlike James, Angela is really bizarre. In the game, she's supposed to be 16 or 17. She doesn't look like a teenager.
It's not, usual teenagers. One has something, I think, and I try to, I try to make her face special, has something inside. Then, that's why I made, these lines, these shadows. She has a kind of a Schwarzenegger mouth, and try to make her face animation, a little bit uncomfortable.
Lost?
That makes her look more older.
The design team aimed to make Angela look older and opted for an older voice. The actress playing Angela is about 40.
So there we have it. According to Takayoshi Sato, he added lines on her mouth, and he gave her what he described a Schwarzenegger mouth, and also made her facial animations uncomfortable so that she seemed a lot older than she actually was. So as long as these design principles are met, then they are in alignment with Takayoshi Sato's original plan for how Angela's supposed to look and behave. So let's please just move on and focus on other aspects of this release. Personally, I thought I was going to have to buy a PS5 to play this game, but I was very happy to learn that they'll be releasing the game on PC and PS5 on the exact same day, October 8th. However, I was not happy to hear about the additional cost for 48-hour early access. I really wish that companies would stop doing this, just trying to squeeze that extra $20, $30, sometimes even $40 out of people for some special edition and 48-hour early access. For example, the only person I can really think that would need this type of early access would be someone who is a content creator, and most content creators have agents that can secure keys for them in order to essentially do promotion for the game. So even those content creators won't have any issues getting keys, whether they're on Steam or maybe there's a physical copy they'd like to get on console, I'm not sure. But what I do know for sure is this is just a typical Konami strategy to squeeze a little bit of extra money out of the Silent Hill fans. And on that note, Konami has kind of put the Silent Hill community at large in a tough position, where if this game is not a massive success, we may potentially never see another Silent Hill remake. And it's tough because, if the game turns out to be great, that's one thing, but if the game is mediocre, there's going to be a lot of people that have a difficult time parting with the money to purchase it just in the hopes that there may be another remake down the line. It seems to be clear with the way that the marketing has been structured that this is the cornerstone game. This is the one that they really expect to do well and potentially fuel further projects down the line. Along with the special edition, the early access, the in-game items, which I'm sure will be a lot more vast than what they've shown so far, coupled with a lot of the merch that they're releasing, it really seems like they're putting all their eggs in this Silent Hill 2 remake basket for now, and potentially the movie as well. Unfortunately, we still haven't even gotten so much as a glimpse of Eddie in the game, but we did get a chance to see Maria and Laura's final designs, and I do have a couple of things to say about those. For one, Maria is definitely missing a few things here. She doesn't have the skirt, the choker, or the midriff being exposed like she did in the original game, which is not just me nitpicking or wishing that she looked more sexualized. This is actually an integral part of her character, which I'm not going to go into because of spoilers, just in case anyone hasn't played, but suffice it to say, she was very intentionally designed and is meant to look like her original design for a very particular reason. Well, I'm not a marketing expert, but I can certainly see the writing on the wall, so I'm just going to tell everybody ahead of time to get ready for the classic Maria outfit, which will be available for, I don't know, $4.99 or maybe even $9.99. Who knows what they're going to charge, but the reality is it will be in the game. Outside of that, I really don't have a whole lot to say about Maria. She seems all right. I like her actress well enough. I mean, just in the brief few voice lines we were able to hear, she seems to be doing a fine job. And outside of that, we'll really have to wait until we see more information to know more about her. As far as Laura goes, well, I'll be honest with you, she was my least favorite character in the original game, so I wasn't really too deeply invested in her or whether or not they were going to change her. But looking at the design here, seems all right. I mean, she's just supposed to be a bratty younger kid. She sounds and looks the part, so I can't really say too much. A lot of people have said she looks like Evelyn from RE7, which she kind of does with different hair color. And it is kind of annoying that they repeated the whole fart face line 3 times. Like, I mean, 1 was enough. I really don't like how they just harp on it and have her say it 3 times. But yeah, again, much like Maria, I don't really have much to say about it, and seems fine. Don't have too much of an issue with it. Overall, again, like I said in the beginning, this is much more promising than the original information and trailers that we got from that first transmission, and especially more promising than that initial gameplay trailer with all the finger pointing, shall we say. So with this, I do just want to make one final point. We're actually pretty lucky that Konami even put in the effort to get Masahiro Ito and Akira Yamaoka involved in this, and the fact that they did actually adds quite a bit of legitimacy to this game as a whole, and whether or not this will be a faithful remake. I would also like to say that based on this information, I will be buying the game on PC. I will not be paying for the bullshit 48-hour early edition, deluxe edition or whatever, but I will be buying the standard edition and playing it on October 8th, because I do believe that this is going to be a solid game. And, even if it's not, hey, Steam has a refund feature. If it's a really horrific launch or the optimization is awful, I'll just refund the game. And no one is going to take my copy of Silent Hill 2 Enhanced Edition away from me. I still always have my Black Label copies to go back to and stream at any point. So even if it is the disaster that some people are assuming it's going to be, it's not the end of the world. I'll be back next week to take a closer look at Return to Silent Hill, the new movie by Christoph Gans, who was also the director of the first Silent Hill movie from 2006. I want to say, honestly, that I really do appreciate everybody's support on the, admittedly low amount of videos I've made over the past year. I still get people regularly DMing me and asking me for more videos, saying they love the content and other great feedback, so I definitely appreciate that. And thankfully, I actually have a lot more time to make videos these days. I do work full-time. I also stream a lot on Twitch. So maintaining, full-time job, streaming as often as I do, keeping my VOD channel up to date, and also working on these videos. As you can probably tell, my free time is pretty much monopolized. But thankfully, like I said, I've gotten better at editing, and I'm able to record things quite a bit easier now, and a lot faster than I used to be able to. So stay tuned, and I will also definitely be making a part 2 where we dive in depth on some of the movie preview stuff that they've shown so far. Also, as we see more information about the game and get closer to release, I'll definitely be making videos about that. So again, thank you guys for all your support, and I hope you enjoy. I've really started to fall in love with editing video, and working with Adobe Premiere, I've gotten a lot more comfortable with the software in general. I've also been teaching myself a lot about it, so I will be able to make videos a lot faster than I used to be able to, and on top of that, I just genuinely enjoy making these types of videos and commentary analysis type videos as well. So I really hope you all enjoyed, and lots more video content on the way, so stay tuned for that. If you feel so inclined, please hit the subscribe button. Like I said, I will actually be uploading a lot more content like this in the coming few months. I do hope to get at least 1 to 2 videos a month made at a minimum. So, there's going to be a lot more content from me. A strong Silent Hill focus, of course, because I am so obsessed, but I will also be covering a lot of different topics, things that are horror adjacent, and maybe potentially things that even aren't. So be on the lookout for that, and I'll see you guys in the next one.